After being shot in the head, Hermann police officer Adam Sullentrup is headed to rehab. Sullentrup was shot while trying to take an armed suspect into custody at a Hermann gas station in March. News 4's Caroline Hecker brings you the emotional send-off as the officer and his family head for Craig Hospital in Denver.
A sea of flashing police lights lined Interstate 64 from Creve Coeur to Chesterfield as officers from across St. Louis escorted Hermann police officer Adam Sullentrup to Spirit of St. Louis Airport. There, we got our first glimpse of the injured officer, who was moved from an ambulance to a plane headed for Craig Hospital in Denver. It's been less than a month since Sullentrup and Detective Sergeant Mason Griffith were shot multiple times by 35-year-old Kenneth Simpson at a Casey's gas station in Hermann. Court documents reveal the officers were trying to take Simpson into custody when he pulled out a gun and started shooting. Sullentrup was shot in the head and side. Griffith died from his wounds later that night. Simpson fled the scene before barricading himself inside a nearby home, surrendering to officers 12 hours later. Sullentrup is one of several area police officers turning to the specialized care at Craig Hospital, which focuses on brain and spinal cord injuries. Arnold officer Ryan O'Connor, Baldwin officer Michael Flamian, and Hazelwood officer Craig Tudor all received treatment at Craig for their injuries. Sullentrup's stay expected to last a few months. Caroline Hecker, News 4.